What is up, everybody? Eagle here with the 2021 version of what's in my bag. First off, I gotta shout out Discmania and Grip Equipment, because without those two companies, there wouldn't be anything in my bag. So let's see what is in the bag this year. Starting off with my putting putters. I usually carry two in my bag, one for, as my primary putter, and another one that's a little bit more beat in that I use to jump putt, or if I have like a low ceiling that I'll kind of do like a low spin putt style because it'll glide a little bit more when it's beat in. But right now I am using this P-Line Glow P2. This is from the Imperial Eagle 1 run, as well as the other one. Actually, shout out to Austin Montgomery. Both of these were a present by him, to chef specials, so these are super cool. Got the Huck Lab die. So I'm putting with the P2 pretty much my whole time on Discmania, and I love it. Okay, now transitioning into my approach and throwing putters. My go-to is the S-Line P3X. This is a first run. Shout out to Mike Kemp for the one-piece die. I absolutely love this disc as an approach putter because it has minimal glide. I can throw it on a slight anhyzer. It has enough stability to kind of fade out, sits really soft. So I'm probably throwing about 75 to 80% of my approach shots with the S-Line P3X. We have the brand new Exo Hard Logic, is a new disc from the Discmania Evolution lineup. This disc is kind of similar to a P2 Flight with a little bit more glide, maybe a little bit more turn. It's a lower profile, so it fits really nicely in the hand. People with some smaller hands may like this as their, their go-to putter. But for me, I'm liking it for kind of more technical, straight and glidey approach shots or off the tee. So this is the new Exo Hard Logic. The next is the new Razor Claw 2 retooled Tactic. So some of you may know that I haven't had the Tactic in my bag. It's a great disc, but for my game, it had a little bit too much glide. So the guys at Discmania and Latitude 64 retooled the Tactic to make it more overstable and less glide. So it's kind of like a Tactic Pro, if you will. And the Razor Claw 2 will actually be the only way you can get that retooled mold. So it's gonna be kind of a unique mold to me. So that's really cool. Been absolutely loving it. I can throw it pretty hard on an anhyzer. It's gonna flex out, sidearm. Really like it. It complements the P3X really nicely because it has that extra bit of stability. All right, so right now I have 3 mid-ranges in my bag. It's kind of course dependent. I primarily throw only one mid-range mold. I actually just added a new one just now, which I'll tell you about, but I carry 2 MD3s right now. Other times I'll maybe throw 1 or 2 more in, depending if I'm playing more of a wooded course. I need to throw some more shot shapes, but the one MD3 I really like for more understable style shots is the Claw Mark Color Glow C-Line, one of my earlier run Signature Series discs. This is very straight with actually some pretty good understability at this point, kind of for touch backhand shots, like if I'm scrambling with a forehand, or it's just the run-of-the-mill flippy mid-range at this point. Definitely a disc that everyone needs in their bag. Next is a Crowned Eagle Color Glow C-Line MD3. Probably my favorite run of C-Line MD3. This one's, it surprises me. It's been in the bag for about a year and it's still throwing pretty stable. So I'm throwing it on hyzer shots, just flipping up to flat and then fading to the left. These have a lot of longevity on them, so you know I can hit a bunch of trees, which I do a lot with this disc, but you know it stays stable, and you know it proves to be something that I can rely on, which is really key for me. Last but not least is the brand new Mutant. This disc is unlike anything Discmania has ever seen, maybe even the sport of disc golf. There's actually no curved edges on this disc. As UC put it, it's like the Cybertruck of disc golf, but it's very overstable. Think of an MD5, but you know, maybe notch it up to maybe a MD7 or an MD8 in terms of stability. Absolutely love this. I can throw it really hard on an anhyzer. It's gonna flex back, really good for forehands, but it's a bit faster than, let's say, an MD5, but less glide. At least that's what I have encountered. Definitely a disc that I have been waiting for from Discmania, and you know, I already love it so much. Shout out to Mike Kemp for the Sharingan die. Next, we are going to fairway drivers. I carry 1, 2, 3, 4 different molds of fairway drivers. First one is going to be the Essence. This is by far the flippiest disc in my bag. I use it for rollers and occasionally, a weird scramble shot or a fan gripped hyzer that like flips really fast, and it does some weird shapes with it, which I really love. Very comfortable disc. Probably one of the most beginner-friendly discs in the Discmania lineup. So if you're looking to pick up your first Discmania disc, it's the Essence, because people with 600 feet of power throw the Essence for something, but other people who are just getting in the game can throw an Essence straight, and it's a great disc to learn from. So two thumbs up from the Essence. Next up is the first run 3-tooled C-Line FD2. This has been my go-to fairway driver. Put it in the bag kind of early last year, was throwing it a bunch in the woods, and it kind of it filled a slot in the bag that I was really needing to be filled. I'm throwing it on hyzer flips that go flat, drift to the right. It's one of the most workable fairway drivers I've found. It's pretty flat, which is a trait I look for when throwing more control style shots, because I feel like it releases out of my hand a lot cleaner. And since it's flat and very, very symmetrical, forehands are a dream with this disc. Really good disc to learn forehand with, because it's very workable, comes out of the hand very, very clean. Next is an FD2. This is actually the second variation of the FD2. It's actually a prototype. Only about 3 or 4 of these were made. And then we did a run of the Konopiste Shimmer S-Line FD2s. Some of you Discmaniacs may remember, but this is a C-Line version, and it's similar to the FD2 I just showed you, the 3-tooled, but it's a little bit slower, has a little bit more fade and less glide. Really like this disc. It's kind of like a slower, beat up version of an FD3, very workable. The problem is there's hardly any backups for this. I could probably track down 1 or 2 if I really needed, but I just figured, I'm gonna enjoy having a really awesome disc in my bag. If I lose it, then it's time's over. It's time's up. So that's the way I look at it. Next, we got 2 FD3s. I usually carry way more FD3s, but I have a good reason why I'm only carrying 2. But the first one is a Color Glow C-Line. It's a little bit more of a glidey FD3. Still overstable, but a little bit more workable. I can throw it backhand or forehand. I'm gonna get some more distance than some of the other FD3s that I have. It's similar to like a Luster one, more glide. Really like this for forehands and shots where you need some distance. Next is a Glow C-Line. It's one of the more overstable versions of the FD3. This one's a little bit more beat up. So a little less distance than the Color Glow, but definitely workable. Probably one of my go-to Discmania discs. If you go back to any sort of coverage, you can probably see me throw this at least 4 to 5 times per round. It's definitely a workhorse in the bag. Got a pretty good stack of these, and I'm happy that I do. Next up, I took out my overstable FD3s because I have these new discs. This is the brand new Discmania Splice. It's a jacked up version of an FD3, much more overstable, but it's not quite a tilt, but it's kind of close to a tilt. These are kind of essentially the same disc, but if you look on the inner rim, I have like 2 dots on around my signature, so I can kind of know which one's which, because this one actually has a little bit more dome and it flies extremely overstable. A lot of you remember I've thrown the Max in the past, and I think I'm finally gonna take it out because this disc kind of fills that slot, at least the domey one. But this flatter one is a little bit more, a little bit straighter. I can get a little more glide out of it, but not much. But it's really nice to have just something that's extremely overstable, about a 9 speed, so forehand or backhand. I'm throwing this a lot. It doesn't skip as much as the Max, and it's definitely more overstable than any FD3 we've ever made, and I love it. Okay, on to the distance drivers, the fast guys that everyone loves to throw. First off, it's kind of a hybrid style disc. It's in between a fairway and an actual distance driver, but you got 2 PDs, both C-line. This is the first run C-line PD. This has been in my bag for a long time, I think since 2017, so definitely one of the older discs, but still holding strong, still has some pretty good stability, very workable. Then I have the 13th run C-line, very overstable, kind of honestly in between an FD3 and a Splice, but with some more distance, throwing it hard and flat, maybe some anhyzer. It's coming out in the end. Pretty much whenever I need some distance, but also control, the PD's always been a go-to. I throw these power grip, pretty much anything over a 9th, or pretty much anything over 10 speed, starting with the PD. I throw power grips, and before then I throw fan grips. So power grip, these guys, very versatile. One of our classics, really. Next up, got 3 PD2s, ranging from overstable to more overstable. This one, shout out to Nate Perkins and Connor O'Reilly. Metal Flake PD2, usually the Metal Flake PD2 means it's one of the more stable runs, but this one is a little bit more beat in, pretty flat, pretty workable. So this one's going pretty straight with a consistent fade to the left. Reaching for this if a certain other disc doesn't really call for the shot. Next up, second run C-line PD2. Wasn't throwing these for a long time, but went to the warehouse, found a huge box full of them, which was crazy. But these are kind of the longer flying PD2s that I used to throw before the Cloud Breaker came out, but still overstable, can throw it hard and it's gonna fade left. PD2s are just great utility, wind fighting discs, and this is no exception. Last but not least, the most overstable version of the PD2 in my bag at the moment is a Luster C-Line PD2. It's a Leo Pirinen 2016 European Champion Edition. Mike Kemp died. Just, it's probably the most overstable driver in my bag other than the Splice. Just throw it when the wind comes out, or, I need to get left quick. All right, last but not least, I got the DD3s, ranging from flippy to bomber. These are my go-to for long range backhands, long range sidearms, assuming that the wind isn't too crazy. This is actually a first run DD3, not of the Cloud Breaker variety. The most flippy one, I use this for rollers or in the woods, sidearms. just kind of the straightest version of the DD3 I have. And these two are the third run of the Cloud Breaker one, which is my favorite version. They're the most overstable. Throw them hard on backhand with some hyzer. They pop up to flat, maybe ride a little to the right, fade left. This one's been in my bag a little bit longer. I think it debuted in my bag last year, 2020 at D-Glow. This one is a little bit newer, so has a little bit more stability, but they're essentially the same disc. Amazing backhand, forehand disc. The Cloud Breaker completely reinvented my distance game, and I'm still just, I'm giddy when I get to throw these on the course. And yeah, that's crazy. That's all the discs that's in my bag. Everything's pretty standard except the brand new 4 Evolution discs. Really excited to see some overstable discs coming out from the Evolution lineup. I mean, the Mutant, the Splice, and the Razor Claw are amazing wind fighting utility discs. Definitely for more of the power throwers, but the Logic will definitely get some attention from players of all skill levels. All right, guys. That's what's in my bag. Really excited for the rest of the year. Got some big tournaments coming up. World is just around the corner. And yeah, looking forward to competing. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. And until next time, keep on dreaming. Peace.